Hi, folks. Thanks so much for being here and listening to VJ Talk. Just want to give you a quick heads up. If you hear anything of like, go check the links in the descriptions to like do this poll, etc., etc. Those do not exist. If you try to find them, you will be sad. All of these episodes are old episodes. There aren't any new ones out yet, and so don't waste your time on doing that. But otherwise, enjoy. Hello and welcome to VJ Talks, a bi-monthly podcast presented by VJH Creations LLC, where I talk about anything and everything to do with TTRPGs and sometimes larger pop culture. I want to give a quick shout out to Arcane Anthems providing the intro and outro music you hear in this podcast. Arcane Anthems creates free music for tabletop role-playing campaign streams and podcasts. Music adds immersion, tension, and emotion to role-playing games, but often streams and podcasts shy away from using music for fear of legal ramifications. Arcane Anthems wants to make it simple to add music to your games. This episode is the first VJ Extra episode. In this episode, Aaron Grant and myself shoot the shit and talk about anything that comes to mind. No script. Like the name suggests, VJ Extra episodes are additional content that may or may not be created throughout the month, unlike the 2 episodes you're guaranteed every month. Enjoy!
So I was thinking that we could actually dig into homebrew. You know, why do we make homebrew? How we go about making homebrew, as well as, you know, maybe give a few examples of both serious and fun stuff we've done. Because sometimes when it comes to homebrew, it's a silly idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, I would like a shovel that could fly because there are brooms that can fly. You know, other times it's like, hey, there's actually a lack of mechanical tools for this thing, like healing items. Technically, in the player's handbook, there's only like 2 healing items in the entire handbook outside of potions. And I mean like items like tools, you know. You have the resurrection wand, and then you have there's another item that like heals, but it is like a charge item still. And I was like, so these are meant for players to get handicaps early game. But what about players late game that want a weapon or an item that actually heals and they're willing to trade the attack for that heal? You know, I have a couple items that I've specifically made with that intent in mind because I have players who no healers whatsoever. Like no one took the medic feat. No one looked at Chef and was like, that's for me. No one in their mind decided, hey, you know, I might be a wizard, but there are like spells I could grab. No. They were just like, hey, I'm willing to spend 500 gold on potions right now. Give me what you got. And then they proceed to chug them like energy drinks over that mission. I'm just like, I feel like I've built a vicious cycle unintentionally. Like, so I'm always out there trying to find new things to add. And I did get to see your potion video about the economy and how like potions are fucking weird. And
Okay.
I completely agree on that.
They are super weird. Also, they're super weird for a number of reasons, right? So like where is it? All right. So there are 2 places. So okay, according to D&D Beyond, regular healing potion is not a magic item. Now, but like potions of healing in general, well actually, according to hold on a second, let me grab this book. That's it. Xanathar. Okay.
I should have my books with me. I have Tasha's and everything, and I'm sorry, I just moved everything into a closet. This entire setup is now in my closet because originally everything was in the front room. And if you ever watched my players stream my campaigns, I am more often than not either fighting my cat for trying to get on my desk or pee on something, or like turning around and telling my kid to please don't be so loud in the front room. I'm trying to, you know, do this and people are streaming. and I feel like a jackass being in the front room telling everybody to shut up. Yeah,
I mean,
no.
fair.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in.
No worries. Listen, this is definitely gonna be like a so like I mentioned on the podcast, people was like, hey, so you'll get like an episode twice a month, definitely. And then anything else is like gonna be extra VJ talk. So this is definitely like, hey, freeform, me and my buddy talking about some stuff. So they get what they get. Um so okay. In Xanathar's guide to everything, potions of healing are magic items, right? However, crafting them puts them in a different category than your standard magic items, right? So like
Yeah.
when you craft magic items, you have like the common, which takes a week to make and costs 50 gold, uncommon's 2 weeks, rare's 10, very rare's 25, and legendary is 50. But when it comes to magic, when it comes to potions of healing, a regular healing potion is 1 day, a greater healing potion is 1 work week, a superior is 3, and a supreme healing is 4. Even though I'm pretty sure the rarity goes common, uncommon, rare, and then very rare. So you would think it would take longer. But okay. So here's the problem with it, right? So like there are multiple places you need to go look at to really understand. There are multiple places you could look at to understand what's going on with the healing potions and crafting them. Yeah, so the player's handbook, there's the dungeon master's guide for magic crafting rules, and then there's Xanathar's guide to everything, which understandably Xanathar is like up to date. But I was having that whole discussion like magic items don't make any healing potions don't make any sense. And then somebody said something. I was like, what are you talking about? That's not true. And it's like, actually. And I was like, oh shit, you're so right. There's just too many places where this information is. So first off, that's the first big problem. Too many places where things are.
You didn't even mention Tasha's chef feat, where people are using that as a stand-in for potions.
Okay, see, there's that fucking too. You know what? I know the chef feat is out there because somebody in one of my games took it recently.
It's honestly really fun. It's a really fun thing. But yeah, people are using it, and what they're doing is they're essentially saying like they either they'll take the chef feat and they'll cook something, but they'll make it like it's definitely more homebrew. It leans towards homebrew, but people are using the chef feat as a way to bridge the gap between the potion and the regular potions that are non-magical and the potions that are magical. In other words, when you take the chef feat, you can cook up like semi-magical items and things like that, and they'll come up with their own recipes to do it. And the stat buffs are automated by the chef feat. So they're basically filling in the blanks with the items, and then they're like, okay, I take these items, I get this buff. This is the buff I give everybody with the chef feat. But it's one of those things where you can tell it wasn't intended for that, but that's what people are using it for, because like you said, there is no kind of one collect all like document. This is kind of where I wish Wizards went back to doing their pamphlets, their monthly pamphlets.
Okay, see, I was not I've never gotten my hands on any of the pamphlets, mostly because I started playing I started in 5e in 2015. So everything like, and I'm finding like the digital copies of things and just working my way through them because I'm like, oh, this is a treasure trove. This is cool. This is dope. But like sometimes I'm like, man, I wish either myself or my dad, because he's a big fucking nerd too, had been like into it when it was like doing its other shit, because my dad has like a shit ton of like old school like comics and like 2 like big these big like military style crates, and I bet if he'd been into D&D the same way he was into comics, he'd have a shit ton of stuff for me just to go through all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh, the thing is, I have only ever seen 2 pamphlets in person, and they were at a D&D shop, and they were actually framed. And I asked the owner, because this was back in 2012 when I was first getting into D&D, when 5th edition first came out, like 2012, 2013. And I saw them, and they were about the monsters. It was a whole pamphlet dedicated to like one monster, and then the other pamphlet was dedicated to orcs. And ever since, my brain is like, I want to make those. I want to make pamphlets that go in the back of like your homebrew I make, and you can tear them out and hand them to your players. And this is like a stock info on this item or this thing, because that's cool to me. It is such a simple way of getting the information out. And I can see what's just the coach charging you $5 for a digital copy, and people would buy the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know you did.
I mean, I would.
But this is important. Okay.
What's going on, honey?
You ate my cookies.
Somebody's in trouble.
You ate my cookies. These are my birthday cookies.
I didn't know
You ate the birthday cookies? Oh my god.
Hold up.
Hi,
I'm taking attack from both ends.
To my viewers, sorry, I was gonna cut this out, but then I was like, you gotta know the fuck shit that is apparently happening. You ate
I'm sorry to
their
interrupt
birthday.
recording, but you ate my cookies.
I'm sorry. I will
You
buy
eat
more
the
cookies.
rest
Oh
then.
my god. No, I will buy you more.
It's too late.
There's still cookies in here.
It's like 50 cookies too late, Aaron.
I didn't eat the 50 cookies. The fuck? I didn't eat all these. She left. Oh my god. Oh my lord.
Oh god, I love that.
I love that.
I don't know how I'm gonna edit that, but
you could do it as like a blooper at the beginning.
oh yes, that's exactly
Like,
what's gonna happen.
You could. Oh, you know what? Get some like news sound effects. Orphe time busted stealing wife's cookies.
I'm gonna have to play around with this.
Oh
That's perfect. You villain.
I'm like, babe, I'm recording. She's like, I know you are. This is important. And I'm just like, oh, okay, what's up? You ate my cookies. I'm like, what?
That is an important statement, specifically because they were birthday cookies. You fucked up.
Those cookies have been up there for like 4 months. Birthday's in February, so I don't know quite how that works.
Listen, it just does. I don't know either.
I bought these cookies 3-4 months ago, and I kept trying to get her to eat them. She didn't. I was like, you know what? I need a snack for work. But yes, I'm the villain of the story. This is how you've learned that I was caught with my hand in the cookie jar, and now I'm dropping napalm on an orphanage next week. Check the stream out.
Okay. Let's get back so I can cut this and add it to the front.
I don't remember what we were talking about. My brain is. Okay. I know I brought up the chef feat, and then what was after that?
No, we were talking about the chef feat because there was everything wasn't in one place, like in one central document.
Yeah.
So like to say that, sure, there is D&D Beyond, which you have to rebuy everything to actually have it in one place.
I genuinely hate that.
Same. Like, I don't use D&D Beyond. It stresses me out. The only time I use it is when I'm playing in games where the DM prefers that I have it, and even then, I will update my character sheet as necessary. But I use a spreadsheet for all of my shit.
Yeah. Fun fact: there are a lot of the documents that you would normally have to pay for that are uploaded as homebrew. You just have to go looking for them. People will re-upload stuff and then label it as homebrew, and if you make it so you can add homebrew, you'll find a lot of the textbook stuff in there.
Are you asking me to commit theft, friend? First you're a thief, and then you're gonna go bomb an orphanage, and now you're asking me to engage in theft as well?
Look, let's use Nintendo.
I'm kidding.
Let's use Nintendo as an example. All right. You burn down the bridges and you yell at the people when they use a boat. You can't be mad at me.
Okay, fair.
All right, but yeah, there is no one whole place, and I have put together a couple different homebrew based on different worlds. Like one was a low magic world where like magic potions were extremely rare, so people would make salves and things like that to heal themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Then I made one that actually explained the difference between non-magical and magical potions. And basically, I think you had mentioned in your TikTok that like have the lower level of not be magical, have the higher level be magical, and that's essentially what I did. I was like first level magic, first level like potion, lesser healing will actually go ahead and stop you from bleeding. Stop you from bleeding, give you a little bit of health back, but it's not meant to heal wounds. If you have a gaping hole in you, you're still got a gaping hole in you. You know? But like the next level up was magical and took about a month to prepare because I treated it like it was a brew. You had to let it sit and kind of fester for a month. Did not taste good either. I explained to my characters it tastes like vinegar, stale fruit, and has a slight sweet stench to it. And they were like, "That's disgusting." I said, "You wanted medicine in a magical world. Welcome to having to make it yourself."
I'd like that. My current Saturday game, the world started off with no magic. So like there were healing salves, like +1 weapons and armor wasn't magical. It was just like finely crafted. Like there was like an ancient aberrant primordial being that it like sucked them that the magic had been sucked out of the world to like seal it away for as long as possible, and then like my players, all a bunch of like kids and teenagers, unlocked magic again and all that good stuff. But yeah, the whole like I think okay, I don't want to make any declarative statements because it's not like I remember every single fucking magic, every single item that exists in 5e officially. And then like no way I remember that. But I feel like there could be a lot more room officially for like non-magical healing. And I feel like there could be a lot more room for that.
Honestly, I'll make a declarative statement. Give us more than the medic kit. Because that's really what most people even think of. You know, you become proficient with medicine and then use the kit, and then that's all there is. And yes, it's simple, which means you can it any which way you want. I kind of really want like more than that. Like, have a class of cleric that doesn't use magic. They're essentially a medic who studied in the church, studied medicine in the church, and have them actually like heal people over time or something along those lines. I know that there's ways to do it because like using magic kind of becomes a crutch in a fantasy world sometimes. And there's something to be said for wanting to play a character that actually has a skill. And magic is skilled. Like you have wizards, things like that. But like you also have sorcerers who are determined to being good with magic. And so there's something to be like, yeah, actually, I was a medic during the Great War that happened 20 years ago in world that the DM now has to make up because it's in my background. Yeah, I was in that Great War, and now I'm trying to go ahead and do all this. Oh, so you're a cleric? No, actually, I'm a fighter who took chef, medic proficiency, and a bunch of other things. Like, there's no class that actually like allows you to heal without magic. I think that would be something a lot of people, especially for roleplay, would jump into really heavily.
Okay, see, So I think the ability to heal without magic is a great one. I don't know if I'd agree that it should be a class because I'm a big fan of layering things over classes. So for example, okay, I did this like psionic system for the sorcerer in my game that didn't have magic is an aberrant mind sorcerer. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, hey, do you want to have some like psionic abilities and that kind of thing?" And so it's just a completely it was a side system from what they already like got as a sorcerer and stuff, and like tweaks and pulls and whatnot. And that's kind of like my favorite design space. Like
Universal
when I think of
subclasses.
Yeah, so like when I think about it, like when I think about the psionic system, like part of me, like I'm going to expand it. Part of me just wants to keep it as is and add more like and just add more like psionic abilities, like actual ones that I could share with the world, because a lot of the ones that I shared in my home game, like they don't belong to me. I can't like actually publish them for real like that. Versus like going to each versus going to each class and maybe subclass. I don't know how much of a glutton for punishment I am, but going to each class at the very least and creating like the like psionic overlay for the rogue, for the wizard, for the sorcerer, for the barbarian, like it, so it intertwines with their current abilities. And that's what I think if I was gonna do like that, but for like healing without medicine, it'd be like it would be that kind of thing. So it wouldn't be so much as a class, but just a whole system you could overlay and be like, hey, if you're going to have this class and you want to be a medic, here is the medical stuff you get at each level. And that way, if they multi-class, okay, well, you multi-class into this, so you get access to this one instead for this, but you're still your warlock, you're still your cleric, etc., etc. Without like
I feel like you could do that easily. Like I said, like an overlay, like you're talking about. And you wouldn't have to tweak it too much. Now you'd have to be aware of like the major abilities so that things don't chain into like brokenness. If you're doing it to fill in blanks, like with medical, I feel like you could do a general overlay with like every few levels, like you said, you get something, then you throw that out into the ether, and you will see how people like use it. 'Cause I've always liked the idea of a rogue medic mix, like someone who's stealthy and kind of stealthing around the battlefield to heal people so that they don't get attacked as well. Like I could see that working really well.
That would be really cool.
And it's like what it is like it is essentially it's modular. That's what the word I'm working for. It's a modular class or a modular subclass. Because the way you're describing it makes me think of a subclass. You can kind of just poke around what you want. And because it's a system that's separate though, because it's just different enough from what we consider subclasses. Is a bit of its own thing. I think that would work. I think that would be really fun. Like pick 5 things you want to add to the game and create essentially, oh yeah, our barbarian actually wants to be a cook. Okay, well here's a whole system on actually cooking that the barbarian can take as like a feat or as something else, kind of like the chef feat, but more expanded. I know I kind of really like that. I kind of like. I'm sorry, my brain is running right now.
It could be a feat, and it's just different per class. Like, hey, you all get this base thing, and then here's what you get as a class at these levels.
Yeah, what you could do. Cool. You know what the easiest way to fix that is?
Let me hear it.
What's their primary stat? Give them different choices on how the feat can affect them based on their stats. So if you have a rogue that is a dex rogue, traditional dex rogue, they're taking this like medical feat. They get the basic medical capabilities and everything, but then maybe they do get a buff to their dexterity or something along those lines. If they're a barbarian who takes this medical ability, maybe they can use their strength. They get a buff for their strength, and so what you do is you're like, okay, in each level, every so often, maybe every 3 to 4 levels, you get another medically based buff to another stat. And it allows for your character to slowly kind of build their skill. I say that with air quotes, build their skill over time, because you don't start off knowing everything. The more you do something, more your world and how you do your other things kind of bend to it. It's like when I do security, I do tours and I check things, and when I'm at home, I'm checking the house when I lock up, I do the same exact things. I check the door, I look outside the door, I make sure I lock it, I double check that it's locked, I touch the door, and then I go to bed. And it's a lot of extra small things, but I learned to do that at work. So these things become habit, but they bleed into other things. So like, that would be, I think that would be really cool. Use it as a way to modify the character over time.
Okay, now I want you to write this.
Write this down?
No, I want you to make this period.
Oh, I could try. I would need help because I've told you I've never published anything officially. Every homebrew I've ever made, I've pretty much either given away for free or was commissioned to do.
Listen, I'm here, and this statement that I'm about to say, anybody listening to this, time permitting, I'm down to help anybody get their first thing off the ground, like, and published onto wherever you're trying to publish it. DM's Guild, Drive Through RPG, Itch. Never published anything there, but I want to and willing to go on the journey with you. Also, let us take a quick break. I have to let my dog outside.
Okay, I'm gonna get me some stuff to drink. Back in, let's see, back at 30. Pass.
Oh, yep. I thought you were about to say 30 minutes. I was like, are you sure?
Oh no, 30 pass because like
okay.
31 pass because now it's 26.
Okay, see you soon.
Oh. Get out of here, kitty.
Are you typing aggressively for comedic effect or?
I'm in. No, I'm not. Actually, okay. So here's the thing. I love that meme. I did IT a lot growing up, and I still tinker with it. So the whole joke of like typing angrily and being like, "I'm in," and I'm just like, ugh. Also, I'll turn around and use it, and I'm actually like logging into an account. So.
Listen. Wow, it's a completely. I kept trying to say differently. It's a completely different experience with an actual IT person goes.
Oh.
I'm in.
That makes you worried. Okay, when the actual IT guy is sitting there angrily tapping, and he's like, "I'm in." Into what, bro? Into what? Because I know you got the skills. What are you in?
I've gotten into the mainframe. I own the web.
What the fuck? Are you okay, bro? Are you okay? Like, is everything all right at home? Is everything okay at home?
I couldn't help myself. Anybody listening to this, this is VJ Talk shooting the shit. No rhyme or reason. You get what you get. That is going to be the title of this.
You know what? I'm fine with that being a monthly thing I participate with you on. VJ Talk shooting the shit. Where we just talk about what we just talk about whatever the fuck we want. All right. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about how the tax in China is better than America. We can.
Talk about the what in China is better than America?
The taxes in China.
Okay, hold up. However, wait a second. I think I'm gonna say let's at least be things that I can have an opinion on because I have no idea what the tax in China is like compared to America.
If the internet has taught me anything, you don't need to have knowledge to have an opinion.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna agree. Yes, the tax in China is better than America. I'm sure the tax everywhere is better than America. We live in a hellhole.
I legitimately know nothing about the tax in China, but it sounded nice to throw out there.
You don't even know it if you said it. I thought you were knowledgeable on the topic, and I was just going to be blundering my way through, but you don't even know. Okay.
Look, I am a man who half-assed his way through many a college papers and still got 100%.
Oh my God. I mean, fair, same, but damn it. Oh, you know what? Here's something I actually want to bring up. Did you ever watch Ben 10, like any of those shows? Okay. Tell me. I need somebody to explain to. Oh, actually, let me type this in before I say this. Ben 10. Okay. Nope. I was about to say a falsehood.
What's up?
I was about to say I need somebody to explain to me why there isn't like a Ben 10 alien race compendium somewhere where people have made the races for 5e, and then
They have.
yeah, I've just stumbled my way into fucking Reddit. I should have typed that before I thought about saying it, because
it covers a lot of places, because Tintin's grandma was hot. Okay, if you're telling me someone didn't look at that and say, I want to play that race or I want to fuck that race, you don't know the D&D community.
I mean, you're right. You're so right. Specifically, Hot Lava Boy. Super hot.
And yes, Ben is 10, but the skater boy persona is definitely a cutesy thing. Like, there's a reason that was the hot topic in the 90s, in the 80s, was that skater persona.
Okay, yes. The skater persona for Ben was really cute. But specifically, I want to make it clear, when I say the hottie, I mean the lava alien that he can turn into.
Not
them
Ben.
as a species.
Yeah.
Yes, not Ben. Let's be very clear here. Them as a species. Listen,
Markiplier just did hit or smash or pass for Pokemon. You're safe.
Now I want to do smash or pass for the Ben 10 aliens. I don't even know how many fucking there are. I will say the one that I will probably definitely be saying no to is the gorilla spider one. Don't have a problem with spider monkey. Don't have a problem inherently with spiders. I actually want a pet tarantula, but the combination is just like absolutely.
That is
I'm
a
just
howling
imagining.
species. That is a howling species during intercourse, and that is.
Yes, which isn't even.
That's hot to somebody.
I'm sure it is, and more power to you. It's just specifically if I was sleeping with an alien like that and I looked up and their spider arms were like in any weird position while we were smashing, I would scream bloody murder, fall over myself to leave, and then never be able to look them in the eye again if we saw each other in public.
That's great.
Yeah,
no,
that is the.
Grew up watching anime, so like there are very few limits that don't cross my mind or haven't at some point, and I'm just like, huh. Like I grew up during like 90s anime and watched a lot of like Ninja Gaiden and other shit. So like there's not a lot that surprises me anymore. A lot of people have natural reactions that normal people would have. The whole yes, that is a 1,000-year-old vampire girl, and I'm like, oh okay, cool, she's cute. No, I petite, I suppose, but not really for me. Whereas like other people go, oh my god, that's obviously a child. And I was like, yeah, are you new here? Like, anime's been weird for a long time, and I'm just burnt out. Like nothing really surprises me anymore. I was around during the peak of the Bokuno. I'm not gonna finish that, so no one has to Google it. But if you know, you know.
Okay, but wait. I think you should drop it in the chat so I can know.
Oh, okay. Chat. Okay, here we go. I think that's how you spell it. You know this? I'm deleting this after this conversation.
You can delete it now. You can delete it right now. What is wait, what is that? Do you hear that?
What?
Did you hear music?
No, I heard a beep.
Okay, continuing.
Okay. And you can cut this from the chat, from this whole thing. Boku no Pico is a adult teacher getting down and dirty with little boys. It is a whole anime. The little boys cross dress. And it was such a shock that it was made in Japan and brought over to America subbed. Like people were jokingly being like, "Oh yeah, a great family anime." and would just drop the name. And in fact, it's a meme that exists still to this day. Because there are some people in the anime community that, like, for April Fools, dropped it, and I was fucking dying. Because in the comment section, everyone's in on the joke, so everyone's dropping other series that are like, what the fuck series? But, like, yeah, I lived through that joke, and legit had a friend of mine come to me, be like, hey, Aaron, I'm gonna start watching this anime my friend recommended to me. They had no idea. And I was like, oh, what is it? And they told me, and I was like, no, no, it was a joke. It was supposed to be a joke. Don't do that to yourself, because you will sit there in shock and see at least the first part of it. You will be so shocked that you just do, because that's what happened to me. I was randomly looking for anime to watch, and anime sites used to have random, like you could randomly bring up an episode of something, and that came up, and I was like, what? What? And I wish I didn't know anything about that show. I wish I could burn that from my memory. Because it's one of those things, you're such in shock of what you're seeing. You're like, no, of course not. This wouldn't actually like be a thing. It's fucked. It is fucked. And the community as a whole treated it like a joke because it was such a shock to them. You could tell that like it was a natural knee-jerk reaction. It's not. It's. I lived through a lot of weird shit, so I am just immune to most of it nowadays.
I can understand that. I've been sitting in mostly silence because I was not in the space at the time. But I have heard whispered tales to get the gist.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Everything and more.
Okay, all right. Moving away from this, let's get back to talking about D&D and TTRPGs.
About that wholesome HP boost that we want to add to the game.
Wholesome.
Believe me, discussions on economy and everything else are way more my speed.
Okay. I know this is not our let's go into depth on the economy of D&D talk. Like that is going to be a whole thing that we're actually going to have to talk a little bit more about to get that up and running because it is an experience.
I have not actually been able to finish the books you sent me because the fact of like work's been shitty, and that's the only time I really have to sit down and read. And I was having fun reading it. I was having fun reading like the bread one, and I was like, I'm a weird person. I was having fun doing that, but also I was like, man, I'm so out of the loop on economy. It's been so long, and I've only because I do what I call a light economy, but that's for a different conversation. Because I don't want to go into it.
Okay, wait a second. Like, give us like your 3-sentence explanation on light economy to wet the whiskers of other folks.
Okay.
Ready, set, go. Short and sweet.
There's two types of fantasy and economy, just like there's two types of fantasy magic. You have hard magic and soft magic, and in my D&D world, I basically translate that to hard economy, light economy. A hard economy is if your players really want to get into depth about mercantile businesses and things like that, that's what you use. You essentially create a stock market for your players, and you allow them to affect the world. Light economy is we accidentally burnt down this village. That village was the main place that they grew their hay for the entire country, so we have to go ahead and admit that the prices will go up. So basically, it's a surface level die for light versus a full-on system that you kind of sometimes have to wing for your players on the low. Because the thing they don't tell you about economy is every country's economy is a little bit different because everyone cares about different things. So economy is a living, breathing creature, and if you stab it, it bleeds. Let's put it that way. The difference is how much does it bleed and how much do your players know about that wound.
Okay. That makes I didn't know what you meant when you mentioned light, and I was like, I should ask about this at some point, but that actually explains it pretty well for me.
That was way more than 4 sentences, but I'm sorry.
Listen. I said 4 sentences to you so you would tell me. I was like, let's just make it short and sweet. Tell me what you can in 4 sentences. I'm glad that you didn't feel constrained by that and said everything.
Yeah, because I've found that I'm the type of person that if I play, I would love a heavy economy. I am the person, I don't know if you saw the video I brought up where like I talked about my character Brog, who created and wrote an entire year-long plan for a bar. I wrote an entire business plan for a bar that was doing poorly in a city, and I said, I will invest in this business plan. If you match it, then you will pay me back over the next 3 years. I wrote that. I proceeded to send it to my DM, who proceeded to send it back to me and go, what the hell is this? I said, you said I could invest my money into this bar because I had a shit ton of money. My DM was trying to balance his game and accidentally broke how much gold I had. Because I sold everything I didn't need as an orc barbarian. I didn't need a bunch of extra shit. Mm-hmm. And so when I say I was walking around with thousands upon thousands of gold, I'm not shitting you. When I say that I could have turned that gold into a few thousand platinum, I'm not kidding you. So I was the rich dude trying to figure out what the fuck to do with this money. You know, and I wrote an entire system to invest, and I put it to use, and then the game canceled, and I was like, these are the things that you allow to happen in D&D. You will invest yourself, and then it will die. And you're like,
okay, but do you still have that the thing that you wrote?
I have the blueprints for it. The actual thing I wrote, I typed up specifically for my DM, and that channel's gone. Essentially, I wrote up a blueprint, and then I proceeded to type it out in legalese. I actually looked up like investment documents and everything and typed it up and sent it to him, and he was like, what the fuck is this? I said, I am an orc of intelligence 18. Let me do what I do.
Oh my god, I love this. Listen, I would play an economy like that if my players were invested enough in it, because all I want is for their choices to have long-lasting implications on the world. I want them to drop, if they decide to drop 500 gold in a small town, I want to know how that changes everything.
Depending on some things, that could be great or bad, depending on who gets their hands on it. Because here's the thing.
Right?
If they were meant, like, say they killed a bunch of bandits and then proceeded to donate the money that they got from the bandits to the village. Well, who's to say that an extended part of that bandit group wouldn't show back up a few months or even a few weeks later after they had left?
Mm-hmm.
And then the heroes are scorned as villains.
Okay, see, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking where you were gonna go with that is like they all that money led to an economic collapse eventually of the town, and then they were thought as villains. But that is a good one, actually.
The economy is motivated by personal gain and personal wants. The village would collapse, and would collapse technically due to the economy of the money being added because it was blood money. So whenever I think economy, I think both the system as well as the personal motivations of the NPCs and players. Because intent matters. If your intent is to cause harm and you invest your money in that way, then that is malicious money. How will that affect the world? If you don't care and you're just throwing around gold, well, first off, I've got a thief who's really looking at you really hard right now. Secondly, that can boost an economy temporarily out of a slow thing. A noble who learns that there are adventurers coming through dropping 3 to 4 gold per person they meet is going to walk up to them and be like, hey, I heard you like to invest. You know, economy is motivated by people. In its purest form. In its purest form, it's motivated by people. Nowadays, we have systems predicting the economy, which in itself affects the economy. But in a fantasy setting, we don't have that.
It's all I want. It's and I wish Wizards of the Coast cared about it the way I cared about it, because they could probably hire some like top-notch motherfuckers to get this shit working correctly.
Yeah.
And yet here I am over here scrounging together every okay, we're gonna do a deep dive into this at some point, but I just got to share what so you already mentioned that I sent over a couple of like things for you to read. So there's
Mhm.
two things. There's the price of bread,
Yes.
and then there's grain into gold, and then I think I sent a third thing. I think it was like the Silk Road, like trading for TTRPGs type thing. Like now that one's a behemoth. It's like at least 200 pages, and I haven't even read that shit yet. But like I have been gathering every single thing I could do, because what I want to do, what I want the end goal of our talks about economy to be, is I have created a spreadsheet that has everything that I could think of that you might want to buy or sell, or in like any variation of thereof, and then also has explanations. Okay, so let's say this trade route gets disrupted, that marks the price up by 20%. You can just plug this number into here and it'll do that for you, blah blah blah. But on top of that, it means like giving more options and finding all of the availability stuff from regular D&D, from homebrew D&D, from like DM's Guild, Drive Through RPG, D&D, and from other games, right? So like I have a spreadsheet right now that has
Best bet for that without driving yourself mad. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. Is to do two things. Create a map-based economy as an example. Or essentially on the map, you show the Silk Road. You show it, and you show how dense areas have more money, da 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 da. And if you affect one area, how it affects the others, and it affects the others in the same way, like a ball being dropped into a pool of other balls. So greatly affect the ones closest and less affect the ones further away. So maybe the price for items goes up. You're also going to want to go ahead and be very careful not to overwhelm yourself. The second thing you're going to want to do is that sheet that you would have to, I say, attach to everything. And you have the base items and go, okay, what makes a health potion? Okay. Because price of wheat affects the price of bread. The price of bread affects the price of workers. The price of workers affect the price of a chair. The price of a chair affects how many people can afford that chair, which goes back to the beginning. How much is the worker making? It's really easy to fall down that rabbit hole because I've done it. I do a lot of mental thinking when it comes to my homebrew, and I do a lot of on the fly thinking, and I'm like, ooh, okay, I could easily spend the next 6 months explaining to myself why blowing up this church will have a detrimental effect on this city. My players just want to blow up the church.
Yeah, I know. I don't need. I just.
No, I know. I want the same system. I do. I want the same system. I will help you make this system. But we have to have a limit for how deep we go, or else we'll never be in Kansas ever again.
Okay. Yes. We'll find a soft and a hard limit.
Yeah.
Soft, like okay, and then hard. Yeah, we'll stop here. But as of right now, I have been gathering, and like so right now, like I've got the one tab that's the farming tab, right, which has animals, it has crops, and right now the crops are like the animals are, you got your normal shit, chicken, duck, rabbit. Well,
So
there should actually be a hunting one. I don't know if okay, but right now it's chicken, duck, rabbit, cow, goat, sheep, pig, bison, right? And then you have your exotic ones, giant spiders, aurochs, cockatrices, wargs, face spider, steeder. Like I have been gathering everything I could. Like I play RuneScape. I've been playing since like 2005. And I even went into that bitch and was like, okay, let's get all of the like different types of plants that different types of things you can farm in RuneScape, because that's one of the skills. Like you got your allotments, which has like fucking 8 different crops, and then you have your hops, which has like fucking 9 different crops, and so on and so forth. There's so much going on in this. Like I want like I want a system that has the base 5e stuff, and then like, hey, if you actually want to do more, here's everything I've been able to get my hands on. Did you know that canonically people grew opium in a D&D setting?
yes.
I didn't know that.
I only know that because that is one of those random things a friend threw my way via like a Reddit post. Sounds like what you want to do is D&D Farmville and D&D Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. You know what? There's a lot of things I want to do. There's a lot of things I want to do.
Here's the thing.
You know,
I'm not against this. What you do is you make modular versions of the economy system that can be added and removed as needed. So you do a farm version, then you do a merchant version, and you do an armor economy or things like that. And what you do is you separate them into separate things that can work together. That way you can release modules over time, which keeps content flowing for your followers as well as keeps you getting that money in. And you limit yourself so that your brain doesn't explode.
Well, this would... I should have mentioned this before saying, yeah, we can work on it together. This would actually probably be something free. That's just like a fucking article that goes up every month or something. Because a lot of this stuff like is stuff we can't actually make money off of.
Get you? I do.
Because it's not it's not a part of the OGL.
OGL. All right, I'm so used
old school gaming license.
I'm so used to dealing with the SRI. Or is it SRI? Is it
SRD?
SRD. I'm so used to dealing with the SRD. Swapping to the OGL is weird.
Open gaming license, not old gaming license. That's what the yep.
VM gaming license. Heard it. Got you.
Did you just? And that's all for now, folks. Thanks for tuning into this first episode of Shooting the Shit.
Come back next week when we talk about how you make opium.
That's not actually happening to any government officials or agencies listening to this, unless it is happening in the context of D&D. We might actually talk about how you can create opium in your games, in case any of your players want to be drug kingpins. Yeah? Yeah.
That's my Fallout campaign. Oh, man. That's a whole nother bag of worms.
Okay, wait. One more. Okay. I do have to, we might have to wrap soon so I can go get some food. I'm starving. But I do actually have one more thing I want to ask you about. Do you think that D&D 5e can handle non-high fantasy settings? Low fantasy, space opera, sci-fi, like, do you know how like people like to like, and I am, to be clear, anybody listening to this, I am people. I am also people. Like to kit bash and have D&D 5e try and do anything and everything, right? But then a lot of people are like, well, you should play a different game at that point. And I'm actually really just curious on like people's stances in that, because as someone who kit bashes shit, I'm like, I actually want to play different games as well, but I still like my kit bashing. You know, like I have Dark Matter, which is the 5e sci-fi expansion by Hit Point Press, and then I would check out D&D 5e Star Wars, since it's being used by Dimension 20 on their new like Odyssey.
Yeah,
I can't remember the first. Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Go. It can. There are systems that do it better and with less work for the DM, but it can be done. I know this because, as stated in multiple of my videos, I am almost 100% homebrewed DM. I did D&D, and my players bought me the books, and were like, here, and I was like, okay, when's our session? They're like, next week, and I'm like, there's gonna be a lot of homebrew in this, because I ain't got time to read all this book and do my midterms and all that crap when I was in college back in 2012, 2013. So I know you...
Wait. Sorry, what year were you in college?
2012, 2013.
How old are you?
28.
Me too. Okay, nice. Keep going.
So I started off homebrewing. So I immediately started like kit bashing without kits. I was like, okay, they want to do this like weird ass low fantasy, even though there's magic everywhere in D&D. So what you do is you just lower the amount of magic you see, you lessen the amount of like spells that they can use. What I did was for like spell levels, players would have to level up twice. You had to double your level, so they automatically cut the amount of spells you could have in half. Higher level spells were considered old magic that people couldn't figure out how to use. Even had a whole storyline on that. And I made it difficult to get magical items. I made it difficult to use magic for places that were naturally like magically inclined. Like I fit in a low in a low fantasy setting. I actually was able to fit in the Sylvan world, where my players went there, and magic was a lot easier to use, and they were like, "Holy shit, this is so powerful!" They felt overpowered because of it. And then they went back to the real world, and they were like, "Oh, fuck, I can't use that spell anymore." I said, "Yeah, no, you pissed off a Fey goddess. You're not using shit right now." Um, you can do it, and you can do spaceships because D&D has spaceships. They just give you little to nothing content-wise to do with it. You want to physically travel between planes, you can. You can plane shift as well. I think a great example is how they brought in Magic the Gathering into D&D. It fit naturally. Despite having a completely different system for how the magic works in its own world, naturally fit. You can do it. There are systems that are easier, that are essentially better because they are designed for it, but it's what you want to do as a DM. It's what you want to do as a player. If you want to do Star Trek in D&D, do it. Okay? If you want to do low fantasy in D&D, do it. Yes, D&D is a high fantasy game. It's what you want to do with it. It's your game. It's your fun. It's your table. Hope that answers.
Yeah, no, it does. I'm on that point as well. There are definitely things that like are going to be better in other systems, and I think you know, with enough spit and elbow grease, you can make anything fit. Like, and now I gotta say, because I mentioned it, I want to play more games, and I specifically want to do a segment of VJ Talks that's like me and a couple of other like people that like design. No idea who's on it, and like we run through so like we get an adventure and we play it in like 2 to 3 different systems. So the first one might be like I really want to check out the space, right? So the first one would be some adventure that we could run in D&D in Star Wars 5e in the dark matter system, and then one or two other like stars without numbers maybe, and then there's that one space system that Monty Cook has that would get checked out and just be like, okay, so this is what we liked, and then here is what we thought might work better for you. Just like I want to play more games, I want to run I want to run different games, and I also want to like let people know like, hey, if you want to do this, you could probably come here. You could probably just take this system from here and use it when you run into this thing for 5e. But yeah, that's a long way down the road. Don't expect that anytime soon. Anybody listening to this right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I love DMing. I love playing games. A lot of ways, I'm perfectly fine being the forever DM I am in a lot of ways, but I do have characters and things I wish I could pull out.
That is it for VJ Talks, shooting the shit. This will probably be something we do once a month. So see you next month.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.